Hello. Welcome to the Backroad podcast. My name is Ethan Levesque, better known online as the Maine Man. I am excited to be here with you today. I'm recording live in a new studio. It feels awesome. And for those of you new to the page or unfamiliar with the show, which is probably every one of you, this is my official podcast. This is where I discuss the ideas and principles that have guided my own life goals, from business and entrepreneurship to marketing and creativity. My goal is to help you develop a strong relationship with your audience, no matter the brand, no matter the platform. Now, this episode is going to be a little bit different than the previous 20. Firstly and foremostly, this is the first time the Backroad is coming to you through video. Up until now, everything Backroad has been released in audio-only formats. So I'm excited to take the show to the next level. Don't worry, the audio versions are still available wherever podcasts are found. Go find them. Speaking of next level, in addition to releasing every Wednesday at noon, we will also be live streaming the show every week. That's right, so starting May 7th, you'll be able to catch the Backroad live and unedited. Stop in Tuesdays at noon to catch all the bloopers and behind-the-scenes content that you love, and to ask me any questions you want, during the script breaks. There will even be special giveaways, so be sure to subscribe now. Lastly, and perhaps the most exciting news, moving forward, the podcast will be involving more guests. In the months to come, you'll hear from influencers and entertainers, production specialists and marketing strategists, and we'll even have the occasional psychologist or two. For anyone trying to build up their brand or strengthen their relationships with their audience, the Backroad podcast is the perfect show to follow if you want to beat the algorithm. While not every episode is going to include guests, today's episode is extra special because we're including 3. In October, I produced a golf challenge unlike any other. The event was called the Northern Oak Tournament, and with the help of local businesses, local actors, local artists, and a whole lot of extra hands-on crew, we produced a 6-episode web series to help raise awareness of the Heart of Maine United Way's mission to ensure everyone in our community has their basic needs met. It's a very worthy nonprofit that I have been very proud to serve, same with everyone else on the project. The series has finished releasing to YouTube, and as far as I'm concerned, it was a Smashing Pumpkins success. And even if golf isn't your cup of moxie, the Northern Oak Tournament is entertaining and chock full of Maine humor. Now, after the tournament, a few of the cast and crew members realized that we had a lot more that we wanted to talk about. So we stuck around for behind-the-scenes recording. And in today's episode of The Backroad, Kris MacCabe of Northwoods Law, Rudolph of Waterfront Concerts, Riley Bridges, a NESCOM video production specialist and student, and I talk about what it means to collaborate in our state, the state of Maine. We discuss the obstacles and circumstances that harsh the process, as well as the opportunities and ethics that define success. And as you can imagine, we'll also give you the inside scoop on what it was like to plan, produce, and polish a filmed golf event. All of that and more just around the corner. Good morning, afternoon, night. I am Ethan Levesque, the Maine Man. I'm joined today by Riley over a NESCOM, almost NESCOM graduate in Bangor. Christopher MacCabe, used to be a big-time celebrity with Northwoods Law.
He used to be.
Well, still a big-time celebrity, but you don't do the show anymore, right?
We stopped filming probably close to 7 years ago now, so it's been a little while since, but it's a lot of reruns still.
Celebrity status, is definitely
revoked.
Yeah. And Christopher Rudolph.
Never a celebrity.
Big mastermind behind a lot of waterfront concert success, I would say.
If that gets fair.
A fair assumption.
That's fair.
If you're joining us, this is coming out right on the back of the Northern Oak Tournament, which was a 6-episode golf series we did to try to raise money for the United Way. The Heart of Maine United Way is our local branch. If you know anything about United Way or anything about what they do or their mission, I would encourage you to donate. Link will be in the description. This show is not going to be as heavy as the previous episodes. It's going to be very much just a conversation between 4 kind of like-minded people in the state who have made a really cool living, doing a really cool career that a lot of people don't have the opportunity or the resources to actually handle and pull off. So let me just ask, how do you guys feel the tournament just went? How, we had a huge 12-hour production day. We shot out of sunlight. It was raining. It was cold.
It was a lot. It was I would say it was fun first and foremost. It was a lot of learning and pivoting and doing the things that we do. I either have a cold or hay fever or allergies as a result, so I apologize ahead of time. There's gonna be some mouth breathing happening. So Will, sorry, sound all right, sound guy. I think that the cool thing, and I know you're gonna really touch on this, is that Kris and I, we should have probably crossed paths at this point in Jedi, and to have those interactions with people from the different avenues in the same kind of creative circle, but different, places, is always fun. And it was amazing how quickly people just all gelled together, and we had a really good time. So it was fantastic.
It was really great having everybody out there. He mentioned Jedi of Maine, Cab. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how to pronounce Jedi because I've never seen Star Wars.
Oh,
so,
dude,
I
stop.
was calling him Jedi. And
Stop telling everybody you haven't seen Star Wars. Like, it is a thing.
But yeah, Jedi of Maine Cabin Masters was here golfing with us as well. The winner of the tournament, Christopher MacCabe. Spoiler alert, probably a little late.
Stop.
Yeah. How was the day and the experience for you?
It was great. I mean, first off, I just want to thank you, Ethan, for having us all here. I mean, it's we're doing this for a great cause, the United Way, and I mean, really, that's what we're all about. When we did our show, Northwoods Law, we're a state agency, so for us, it's a little different where we can't make profit off of the show or anything. So we're a state entity. We work for the state, for the people of the state of Maine. So for us, it's an opportunity for us to give back by doing stuff like this, where we can help out local charities and stuff like that. So it's a good organization to get behind, and I really appreciate the invite today. And like Kris said, I mean, it's a good group of people that we got out with today, and just had a really good day. The weather wasn't great at first, and
at first or third or yeah,
Mostly in that area.
And our golfing struggled pretty good.
That was great.
But in the end, it was all for a great cause, and that's always what you have to look at.
Yeah, it was for a great cause, and it was also just so much fun to be out there with you guys. Thank you for withstanding the weather and all the craziness. We walked into production this morning, and I made a little bit of an announcement off the bat, and it seemed like everyone was on the same page of we just had to embrace the suck.
Yeah,
it was just it was going to be hard, and as long as we all just kind of held a positive mindset, everything was good.
There was it is what it is, and it was what it was, and rain, shine, show day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to give an opportunity to Riley to speak. Riley was kind of this unsung hero today.
Crushed it.
I didn't realize that the best part of our day was going to be watching you work.
Struggle. Riley Coyote.
Riley was one of our video operations crew members. He comes from New England School of Communications over at Husson University. Are you a senior?
Yeah.
In college? Nice. He was kind of running around putting... We had one flagpole with one camera on it that had to go into every single hole that we played, and in order to keep up with the timeline, he would be sprinting. So I have a question that we've all been wondering.
Yeah.
Were you in track in high school?
Middle school, I was. Okay. In high school, never played sports, anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You
were fast.
The golf cart helps.
Yeah. Well,
golf cart.
You were fast. You were fast.
Yeah, it's the slowest part.
Yeah. It was great.
How was the whole experience for you? I mean, just coming in, this is the first time we've worked together. This is the first time we've met. This is the first time we've been face to face.
Yeah, it was. No, I think it was awesome. I mean, obviously getting to know and meet everybody was super awesome. And it's kind of cool, like you were saying, how we all are creatives in different industries, but we all came together and worked on this. It was just super cool to see how we all mesh and work together. And it was such a cool experience to work with everybody on such a unique cause, and especially for a United Way. So.
Yeah. If anybody deserves the help, honestly, and the attention, it's United Way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off something that you said earlier. You said there's the fact that we're this far in our careers and we haven't run into each other in the amount of time we've been doing this is kind of crazy. Maybe it isn't as big as, I mean, it feels so big because we're here, but it's not as big as as other markets. And so the fact that there's not a lot of saturation when it comes to our industries. And so it's very surprising when we meet somebody and it's like, wow, we've been trying to make this happen for months. We've been trying to make this happen for years. I've been trying to work with you for a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. I mean, you know, you and I have known each other in the stratosphere of things for a very long time and have only worked together a handful of times on projects. So I think that the isolation that happens within our own organizations, lives, and everything else, obviously, it's a deterrent. I think it's, you know, the opportunity to do this and the opportunity, first of all, you asked, and I was very happy to say yes. To
You were the fastest yes we got.
yeah, I mean, you know, if we've seen it. Like, no shocker if you've watched the footage. I haven't golfed in 17 years. I'm not good. I've never been good. I knew I was going to be very bad. I don't like putting myself out there where it's just a visceral reaction when you know you're that bad. But it's embraced the suck, and it was very much like, I told you straight up, I was not good. You said it doesn't matter. I said cool. Like, because even though it doesn't matter, it also just doesn't matter. We are so far along in what we do. I'm busy. I don't have time to play golf. I'm sorry, you know. My summers are shot. So I actually wear it as like a badge of pride and wore it a little better than I would have liked to have. But no, I mean, you take these opportunities and like, I'm so glad I did it. Like hanging out with you guys all day today, it was so great. And in our industries, we're sometimes not afforded those opportunities.
Yeah, it's crazy. Me and Kris have worked together. I got to start specifying. Kris with a K have worked together once, I think, and that was on Pine Tree Camps. Is a really great facility in our state that helps people with mental and physical disabilities impairments, I believe, go to summer camp. It's a really cool program, and they have these celebrity snowmobile rides where local influencers just go and kind of post on social media, hey, we're going to go ride snowmobiles in the cold and have eggs shoved in their snowmobile jackets and just see how messy and gross it gets. And it's a really great cause. It's a really great fundraiser. It's that kind of out-of-the-box thinking that we need more of. And so as we started working on that, you know, we had some really great interactions that time. I started realizing, where's the rest of it? Like, Pine Tree Camps did this amazing thing. How come no one else in the community is doing these insane fundraisers? No one is working with influencers, people who actually know how to get attention, people... You know, where's the strategy behind your marketing efforts, especially as a nonprofit organization, let alone just a business or an industry? Yeah. How has your experience been in weird projects?
We've been dealing with the Pine Tree Camp for a long time now because of the snowmobile aspect of it. Like, obviously, we do all enforcement of snowmobile recreational activities in the state, and we've also been involved with them on their Pine Tree paddle on the Kennebec River. And if anybody's ever heard of the Maine, the Hermit of North Pond, like we had a game warden up there that was the Pine Tree Camp that the Hermit was breaking into. And kind of a funny side story, my warden school back in 2008 was at the Pine Tree Camp in the fall. And when they found the North Pond Hermit's place, one of our classmates had a pair of boots that were stolen, and he had them at his campsite. And they were a pair of game warden pants from one of what we would call our cadre, which was our supervisor at the time. He had one of his pair of pants, dress pants. So he was wearing some warden service gear at the time. But
so funny.
So we kind of have a connection with the Pine Tree Camp. So that's kind of like why the warden service is so involved with that. That snowmobile ride, like that was the second one that I had been involved with personally. And like we've been involved in other events, like Tippecop events at Applebee's for the Special Olympics and stuff like that. And that notoriety of the show kind of helped in that, like you're saying. Like, I mean, people want to come see us. So we do a Tippecop event and we call it a Northwoods Law event. And people come to see that, and we build a lot of money for the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And that was really before the TikToks and stuff like that. Like, we really started...
Facebooks.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook and everything like that.
Napster was hot back then.
Yeah, Napster was big. Like, probably downloaded all those songs for free.
Little LimeWire action.
Yeah.
It's great.
But, like, we don't, like, obviously, like, for us, like, we tried to use it to our advantage to help out those groups. And, I mean, there's several different ones. I've done, I've been a waiter at, like, celebrity waiter events. And, like, I can remember one for the sexual abuse crisis group in Augusta. And they just asked me to do that again next spring. And, like, I had a funny thing where I'd go in and I would take the tables that I had and I would put like gummy worms up underneath them, and it was a fine for them using worms in artificial lure only water. So they'd have to pay me money in order to get that. So that was part of the tips. And so I tried to like kind of have that game warden type flavor and raise a lot of money at the same time. So anything that we can do with our notoriety to help those groups is always a great cause.
So it's fair to say that you would do more events like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we're all about being. We talk about community policing and everything like that, and all law enforcement throughout the state talks about community policing. And the best way to get out in the public eye is to do stuff for charities, work with these groups. I mean, we have such an integral role in like the Special Olympics up at Sugarloaf every year and their winter games. Like the warden services up there, we use our snowmobiles. We take the what we call sit ski event, and we tow those kids up and down the mountain so that they can do their sit ski event. So we love to be involved in the community, and it kind of like not only was the show great so that people throughout the country could see what we do or world, but really we're there for the community, and that's what we want to be there for.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah, safe to say, would you participate in events like this if you were
No,
sticking around?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you're saying, there's not a lot of events like this. And obviously, if there were a lot more, if, you know, different organizations were to, like, you know, partner with each other and do stuff like this, absolutely. I definitely would work on stuff like this.
Yeah. How about you?
I love it. I think it was great. It's a very small pool that locally and individual communities all work together on so many nonprofits. It gets really hard, especially for those that have been doing it for decades and decades, when it's a lot of the same, 20 people doing it. It's great to see, obviously younger people and the new generations taking over, because it's so important to do it, and to, quite frankly, like, for the United Way, Heart of Maine United Way to kind of give you the keys to this, it shows the willingness to grow and to do something cool. And, for you to use your vehicle, which has a lot of clout and gives a lot of cachet these days, for you to be able to take that, put together something like this and understand what you're trying to do with it, even when you're trying to explain it to people who may not. I mean, even when Kris and I got here today, we're like, we don't really know what this is, but we're here, we're willing to do it. Like, it takes a certain individual to be able to do that. And I know you don't love getting the notoriety for it, but like, dude, there's a reason I gave you that quick of a yes. It's because I know if you do something, it's going to be well drawn out. It's going to be mapped. It's going to have an audio guy and visual guys and a guy running around like a crazy person with a 360 camera. Like, there's a lot of value to people who can bring a creativity, but also bring it in a way where the product is, at very least, it may not be as successful as we want. It may not have the reach that it want, but it was thought out, it was well designed, and it was executed with heart. And that's like such a great thing. So, yeah, dude, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be very proud of it.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I became self-employed about 2 years ago. I had been running my own video production company for a long time. I've organized filmed events. I've filmed full-length movies, written film. You've script read. You've been on crews, right? We do this, and I've worked for a lot of other people. And one thing I've always noticed is, like, the second there's multiple people that start getting involved in, like, the vision, you start really convoluting the message. You start convoluting the results. You start convoluting the intention behind everything. And so, yeah, it's one of the biggest reasons why I became self-employed, is because I wanted to make sure I could retain vision, and to make sure I could do the maximum amount of good for the most efficient price for the people that actually deserve it.
Well, right. That's, one of the big things is, what I've noticed anyway, and I'm sure you guys can speak to it in different ways, and you've been working around 1,000 different organizations. It really comes down to the people who are at the head of the table. It's hard to relinquish control. I think with this particular project, it really was from a place where people were like, we need to do something impactful. We know that we can't be there micromanaging. I think you hit the jackpot with the group that you did it with. To have someone like Shira Patterson at the head of the table for Heart of Maine United Way, I've known her for decades and decades, and the work that she does is from a place of pure love and wanting to do good. And when you can get those organizations working together and working with, you know, collectives, there's nothing that can't happen. And I wish more people would do it.
Yeah, I really do too. I mean, honestly, it's one of the biggest intentions with why I've done this. We've deemed this kind of, I'm going to say business model, but more just like a creative workflow model, with full intention of just having the maximum amount of impact on my community. For a little bit more information on what we did, there is essentially one intention: benefit our community. How do we do that, right? Let's get a bunch of artists together to represent a nonprofit and raise money. And while we're at it, let's sell really well-produced, well-strategized marketing concepts and advertisements for local businesses. Yeah. So instead of having one company sponsor this event for $10,000, we were able to get 41 brands associated for $300 to $500 a pop, right? That ask becomes so much easier. It's so much easier to get someone in the door. It's so much easier to get a yes.
Not to be the one talking here, because I know there's a lot of good things, but with what I do on a regular basis, with the way that we operate, the way that our brand with Waterfront, with Maine Savings, Amphitheater, and all these sorts of things, we're very cognizant of our partners, right? And when we weren't sure, when I wasn't sure what you were trying to accomplish, when you came through with that video, and it was very much, hey, businesses, this is what I'm offering. I'm not looking for an ask. I'm not looking for a donation. I'm giving you a quantifiable value. And to be able to articulate that with the way that you do video, I think was so much leaning into what you do well that oftentimes we don't do. We pick up the call, we make an ask, we're looking for a donation, we're looking for that money. That is tiresome. And there's, again, you talk about volunteers, there's also only so much money to go around, and a lot of nonprofits. You look at the breakdown of what nonprofits are in the state of Maine, it's overwhelming. So to go to business and say, listen, not asking, here's your value, here's your reach, here's what's expected. The end, they're like, oh, okay.
Here's what I can give you. Here's what you're going to get out of it. And while we're doing this, associate yourself with a brand that actually does.
Yeah, there's so many times you can go back to that well before it's dry. So
as I've been talking to nonprofits in the area, getting this stuff going, they said that's the number one thing is like 70, 75, and even 80% of a nonprofit's donations come from businesses who are just giving huge lumps of money. And you know what? Those businesses are probably tired of it, and they'd like a break.
Well, and to put your name on a dinner or whatever it might be, right? It's a one-shot deal. You're doing it because you support the business, whatever else. But it's just another ask, right? It's just another thing that they're giving money to. And this is spectacularly creative. It really is. If more people would align with the way that you're trying to do it, it's a no-brainer. It's just built-in advertising.
In my brain, it's just not hard to like spend a little bit more effort and attention into developing a win-win-win-win-win-win-win scenario for everybody. Like everybody has something that they want, and they have their own selfish concerns and needs. And if you can just meet everybody with where they're at, like there's a way to strategize a success story with anybody. Yeah, especially as a creative, when we know how to tell messaging, when we know what words and what buzzwords people want to hear, when we know what tricks the algorithm into giving you a higher view count, right?
Whoa. Right. Speaking my
you already lost it. You lost us about it 10 times today. I think that to that though, the side that we do know is when you're on camera, and even when Jedi was like, oh, make sure you're open to the camera, like little things that we've all embedded in our heads at this point. But you know, it was to go and get the full breakdown with Zach and, you know, the other gentleman today, I forget his name, Travis, like to have them do the announcer roles and to actually mention the sponsors and do the things, because otherwise we were just out there playing golf.
No one wants to watch
right
that.
Playing golf is being very generous to what we just did. But it was you know, it's really, again, not to just sit here and toot your horn, but like, it was a lot of fun.
I've seen woodchucks do less damage to a golf course than we did today.
I might have to apologize. I don't see any bananas on here, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's some beaver tails sitting on that.
Yeah. Yeah. There was some emotional damage done today, but there was definitely some. Yeah.
One of the things that surprised me the most was we had some complications with productions that not a lot of people were privy to. I have been working on this production for 3-4 months now. There have been a ton of complications, but they were overall hard. Like, we were able to make it do, and we got everything done. We got all the gear we needed. We got all the people we needed. But the one place that we struggled is the place I knew we were going to struggle, because I struggled with it at every point throughout my career. And that is that in the state of Maine, it is very hard for creative types and content creators and influencers to actually get together and work together in a really big way. Usually it means that one person has to take a front of the responsibility, and then the other one feels like they're lacking in something, or financially it doesn't make sense, geographically it doesn't make sense, physically it doesn't make sense, maybe emotionally it doesn't make sense. Whatever reason, there are a ton of people who are not grabbing the opportunities that are right in front of us. And as a little bit of proof of this, I've had a TikTok account for 3 years.
Yep.
I am getting pretty close to about 1 million followers. I think I'm like 15,000 people shy. And in all 3 years, I have not made a single video that was done with another TikToker. 3 years, not a single collaboration. And so today, you know, we had I'm not going to name any names, and nobody, the public will have no idea who I'm talking about. But in the past few weeks, I have had several of the people who were supposed to be golfing, who were supposed to be commentating or being involved in some kind of comedic aspect, back out and bail for whatever reason. One was the flu, one was a travel problem, one was a kid problem, one was a wife problem, one was a work problem, you know. But it's like, it just takes one obstacle to get in the way of something really, really cool. And that's really frustrating and disappointing, but also just evidence that we need to work a little bit harder to like make this viable and for people like us. Yeah. Working together is what needs to happen.
I mean, you know, I think you can speak to this. It's there's a lot of different hurdles. I think that, you know, I don't do as much of the front-facing stuff as I used to years ago. So when I'm doing a lot of the stuff that I do to try to make our brand, you know, where it needs to be, and, you know, I do the forward-facing on the PR side of things, right? Whereas I don't do a lot of the social stuff anymore, occasionally throw myself in there. But it's one of those things that to see how hard you all have to work for 5 seconds of air, the worry is, right, that people get really, really, they just want to hold on to that 5 seconds for themselves. And people feel, rightfully so, not rightfully so, whatever, there's different things that go on, that shared time is not necessarily, you know, good time, right? Or it's not beneficial to whatever their platform is. I think the hard thing, they do a pretty good job of trying to at least incorporate nonprofits and community outreach and these sorts of things. But I think that where it's short-sighted is the fact that if 5 different collaborators get together, it's 5 times the reach. So you can do so much more good together collectively. And I think that gets lost in everything we do.
Yeah.
You know,
So why not partner up? I mean,
Right.
We've all got audience bases, right? I mean, some of us a little in different aspects is what I should say.
Yep.
And we just get to share this audience space. It's like just getting together for one day. Like there are a ton of people on my end that have just been introduced to you who are from here. There are a ton of people on your end that have just introduced to me that never knew I existed.
Yep.
You know, people who just got to meet a really cool video production team. You know, and I don't know, it's just the networking of it to just see is so logical that sometimes people's fear is so it just doesn't make sense.
And it's funny too. I mean, like you talk about some of the stuff, like, I mean, like your side is a little bit different than where we come from, because like you have a character that you play where we want people to see us as regular people. We want people to see us as law enforcement that's just the average person. We don't want to be treated differently, and we don't expect to be treated differently, but we have a job to do. And so it is funny, like that aspect of it where there is a little bit of a difference, like where you're coming from on your side, but where we're coming from, we're like, hey, listen, like we have a job to do. It's like some of the times, some of the stuff we deal with is serious, but we're just average, everyday people that want to be treated just like everybody else, and we want to treat everybody the same way. So that's, I think for us, like for our side, like working with other groups like yourself and whatever, kind of reaches out further so that people can see us and be like, oh, you know what? They're just out doing a job. Like they just have a job to do, and like it's good community policing.
I think that one thing I liken it to with the music industry, right, is that there's a lot of bands. So this is the analogy, right, is that there's a lot of bands that, say, in the 1980s, whatever it is, right, 80s, 90s, had a reputation of being one way, right? They had a bad reputation because they were kings of the world and they treated everybody like garbage or whatever it might be. Now they're coming on the way down and they're playing some of our smaller venues, or even if they're playing Maine for the first time and 3,000 people show up, you meet these characters that you've heard about your entire life, and they're the sweetest people in the world. The reason is time is fleeting, and when you're at the top, there's always a bottom, and you have to get back to the bottom at some point. Doesn't matter who you are, right? So that is one of those things that people need to always be cognizant of. And I think that taking a direction and being positive in what you're doing is wonderful, but also recognizing that it's always just a blip in time. The fact that you haven't done a TV show in 7 years, but it's there, you know what I mean? And people assume you got rich off of doing a TV show when you worked for a government agency and, you know, made the same you were making whether you're doing a TV show or not.
Right.
With the world and the access and all the information and all these sorts of things, we're so fortunate to have this, but we are also just open to perception, and perception sometimes skews you.
And obviously there's a lot of people, like, I mean, we all want to do this for the right reasons, you know? It's like there are some people out there that they have other intentions of what they want to do, and they may not want to help people other than themselves.
They may never have wanted this to begin with.
So there's a lot of people, like, I mean, when you kind of find like-minded people that you can work together, like all of us today, I mean, it kind of like draws on that and makes for a good dynamic of like going out and having fun and doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah. I bet you would like this would be have been way more fun for you to do on a regular basis during school, I would assume.
Yeah.
Like you're at the end of your college career and you're like, why did this take so long?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So from your perspective, it's got to be a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of what you said it, you know, it's hard to find those people who are willing to work with others and kind of share the spotlight, I guess. I think that's kind of where you went. Oh my gosh.
I went to the same college as you, and it's like, if you want to write a production, you have to have 4 other writers because no one's going to help you unless they can also be involved.
Yeah.
Everybody has that selfish agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Pushing themselves in their career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're faced with a lot of that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why it's so hard to find people who are willing to work with you. It says, you know, in a way they're selfish, and like they don't really want to share the spotlight. And so at first they might be, you know, willing to, and once they realize like how much work can go into it, and you know, all the things involved, they kind of like are hesitant. So I totally understand.
It's crazy because the hesitancy makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if you just really break it down and into a pros and cons list on a yellow pad,
Yeah.
you're going to figure out where the pros are and how much they outweigh the cons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask, what's the hardest part of your career been so far?
So college career or?
Wherever you're at, where are you going? And what's been the hardest obstacle getting there?
Yeah, so I guess through my college career, it's just like, I guess let's say projects, for example. I guess it's just like working with people in a large group of people for like a school project, just finding that commitment. Everyone has there's a very big a variety of people's commitment on stuff, and it's hard to find like the right people to work with, because you have some people who are like very dedicated to the craft and are willing to work and put the effort in. And then you have other people who don't really care, and it's hard to really find that balance.
Especially when you have to include.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? What's been the biggest obstacle of your career?
I mean, for us, like, I think kind of coming into the limelight, like we didn't expect to be like a household name. Like, I mean, the Maine Warden Service is known throughout the country within law enforcement, within conservation law enforcement, or game wardens throughout the country. But to be seen on national television and being nationally recognized was kind of different for us. Like, I mean, when we started getting followed in Walmarts and LL Bean and stuff, and people recognizing me throughout the country, it was a little different. So that took me a while to get used to, because, I mean, I grew up in a very small town in Maine. I graduated with like 45 kids in my class, and used to go beat up on Jackman a little bit in sports back in the day.
5 people in my graduating class.
Yeah, you guys were real small.
Just 5.
It was that was definitely for me like something different. Like, I mean, I'm not used to that. Didn't seek it out. Just kind of like when they were filming, just stuff happened when I was there. It was kind of, for lack of a better term, a magnet. Like, we were just like, a lot of stuff happened, and stuff that will never happen in my career again. And it's been really good, and it's like we try to use it to the best of our abilities to make the world a better place, really, in the end. Like, we're trying to get out there and use that, I guess, for lack of a better term, fame, to try to bring recognition to a better cause. And like, that's the best thing that you can do. Use that to your best of your abilities.
Biggest obstacle?
I mean, myself, I would say, it's probably, you know, we were very fortunate. It's a lot of the same thing, right place, right time. You know, I think that the reason I have so much hope for what your people will do, and if, you know, you stay here or not, you know, it's one of those where there's got to be that next group. We came, you know, the group of us that did Kabang, you know, it literally was a couple of friends who really just figured they'd do something for the younger kids, and, you know, to have something cool, really. And I think that we just believed in what this community and this state was. We hit lightning in a bottle on a lot of things, but we just worked our butts off. I think that the biggest obstacle is that people forget with social media, and I think you deal with this more than anybody, that there's people on the other end of the computer. Like, we're doing the best we can do. I've never made millions. We're not making a ton of money. I was painting my house on a ladder during COVID because we never knew if our industry was coming back, right? It's one of those where it's been terrifying. It's been rewarding. The biggest obstacles have always been ourselves. But you just do the best you can. And I think that's true for everybody. You know, I think that's why this is so important. You take that leap of faith sometimes. We've been fortunate to kind of work where we've grown with our companies and our careers, for you to step outside of your box. And I think this is a good lesson for all you guys, but to be able to have someone who will take the lead, step outside the box, believe in themselves, because I've struggled with that way past when I was your age, to believe in yourself to the point where, you know, you can do something like this. It's amazing. So I think that as long as you understand that your biggest obstacle will always be yourself, and to push through anyway, yeah, that's the key.
I think so. I very recently found love. We'll get a little mushy. Good. Oh, girlfriend was here. Pretty much all.
I thought he was talking about me.
One thing they say when you're dating, right? If you're struggling in your dating life, they always say, like, oh, you have to love yourself first. Yeah. That's not just advice for dating. Like, that's advice for succeeding in your own world, in your own life. I didn't become a confident person until about a year ago, and the truth is, I really am not. I faked confidence until I realized I wasn't messing up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just that taking that leap of faith.
It's all nonsense.
Taking it on yourself.
Like, we're always our own biggest critic. Like, I mean, like, I've watched a few of the episodes of Northwoods Law I'm on, but I can't watch it. Like, I just, because I'm always catching myself. I'm like, oh, I should have done that. I should have asked that question. I should have asked this. And
I think this for golf.
Yeah.
You watch that tape.
Oh, yeah. Like, this definitely, I could definitely see it. Like,
I should have mental nude.
Like, I shouldn't have answered that email so quickly.
That's for me. That's probably a no next time. Yeah. I mean, that's it. I think that, you know, it's the big thing, and it is fortunate that you stayed, because I think the one thing that I tell people when I talk to colleges, when I talk to whoever, it's all bullshit. It just is. It's all bullshit. We all end up in the same place. It doesn't matter. I have closed the 2 largest sponsorship deals in the history of the state of Maine. I'm a bartender. I'm just someone who likes having conversations. I don't sell you anything. I just talk to you. If you want to be involved with what I'm doing, I think that's great. If you don't, that's cool too. Same with this. You want to be involved? Love to have you. We could do some really cool things together. But if you don't, I want people to be around me that want to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, totally. I think that's one of the reasons why you see so many actors and celebrities and comedians and singers who say right before they found fame, what were they doing? They were waitressing, they were bartending.
Yep.
And yeah, it's because you learn those skills of like how to actually talk to a human being in a way that doesn't make them want to punch you in the face.
Yep. Well, and you learn. I actually have a whole thing. You know, the disc training. Do you guys ever have to do this?
Yeah,
So you have your whole assessment. I do it based on a restaurant. I have an entire thing based on a restaurant. I can judge you by what position I think you would be in a restaurant. I could bartender, cook, and you can do the whole thing. Oh, please. So with you, like, it really is. It's a matter of there's an introverted extrovert. So when you really want to be extroverted, you'd be perfect as a server, but not a bartender. You'd be a server because as a server, you like to have those conversations with people, but you also, when you're in the middle of a conversation, you don't want to be in and say, oh, I have to go check on something for another table. The bartender's the show. The bartender has to be behind that bar. They are not getting out. Someone is running food, whether they like it or not, and they're stuck there having those conversations. So you have to be someone who's empathetic, and you have to be someone who loves to always be on. That has to be your thing. Cooks, generally, not a chef, cook, because a cook can be an introverted extrovert. Cooks, and I don't need to get real into this, but cooks want to be in the back of the house. They want to focus on their craft. Some of them just want to focus on their job and get the hell out of there. Same with dish kids. It can all be broken down. It is I have made it very concise. And if you approach every single person as if they worked in a restaurant, you can have a conversation with them.
That's really fascinating. What do you think the thing that we can do better at as a community would be in terms of like promoting good, which is kind of seems to be the mission of everyone sitting at this table?
I mean, I think just everybody, I think like you said, like not groups not working together or stuff like that. Like it's a collaboration. I mean, this is, there's only so many times you can go back to the same people and ask them for something. So the more connection you have, like we did today, like, I mean, you have connections, I have connections, all that, it spreads that out. And I think collaborating with each other, like you said, is the hardest thing to do, is probably the easiest and best thing to do.
Yeah, hard. Yeah, it's hard, but it isn't.
No, I mean, I think the difficulty is finding people that want to do it, because we always find this, if you don't really have an interest in it or want to do it, then we don't want you anyway. Like really, and that's the truth.
Yeah,
I mean,
I turned away a lot of businesses with this because they would say, hey, I want this, and this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to give you a commercial to air. I'm like, we're making our own commercials, and if you're not cool with that, then we have a very different understanding of marketing.
Yeah,
you know, come on to this.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, you got to be in like the similar mind and similar ideas. I mean, that's what kind of makes the world go around, and like everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I mean, if you have like minds that work together, it's always easier.
Yeah. For me, that's been the biggest obstacle in my career is yeah, it's collaborating, but it's more finding like-minded collaborators, people who are actually like, I see the value in what you're doing. I see how much work would go into,
and who will come and collaborate,
and who will actually come and collaborate and willingly split the responsibilities in a way that actually gives both of you opportunity to focus on your strengths and build something that's strong.
I would say that your crew would probably agree that it was a unfortunate event that people backed out the way they did, because this would have been a completely different undertaking today. I think that you've taken the bumps. We've seen what works. It was the same first hole, right, where we all tried to figure it out.
The first hole took 3
years. Yeah. Like, now imagine that with 2 groups of 4 and how, the same. I think that those are usually the unfortunate events that always come together. And I think that this, you now have a platform and have a really, this was a really good first run. I really enjoyed being with the people, all of these guys today, here, and, here we'll laugh, out of nowhere. And, Max just tormenting me all day long. And like, how many times did he unstrap your bags? Like 4 times.
Tell us if you were actually doing that. You weren't actually.
It was like 4 times.
Our backs fell off the course so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mine went down. Yours went down
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine went
Max.
down. I don't know who the next. Seconds after I strapped it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be Max.
I was convinced that was it.
Yeah.
Yours was. Yeah. Let's see. Let's give everybody one last question. If you were going to ask something to somebody at this table, what would you want to ask?
Me. Yeah, I'm gonna start with you.
To ask you, okay.
Well, ask anybody you want. There's another Amy.
No, I'll ask you a question.
So ask the old guy the question. That's fine. What's it like to be dying? It's not good.
So you're gonna practice golf more often?
No,
Nope. Oh,
absolutely not. Golf is just, it's now, I enjoy it. Like, how fun is that? It's not fun being televised, for sure. It's definitely not fun with the tormenting laugh of, what do they call him, Teddy Ruxpin in a blazer coming across it. It's, again, I think that humility is something you have to really just start to develop. It's really hard when you know you're as bad at something as you are, and you just have to not care, because we all get butchered on everything anyway. So you have to develop this thick skin. I will not be taking up golf, I wouldn't think. I wouldn't not do this again. I would absolutely pick up clubs to do this again, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And at the end of this, you'll see an advertisement for his golf club.
Yeah, those are already pending.
they're on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
Pending. Yeah.
But they were out at the end of the
Yeah, they're in that. They're actually in the pond.
Oh, yeah. With the rest of our malls.
Yeah.
If you were going to ask a question to anybody here that you want to know before you leave, who would it be?
I guess I'd probably go to you. I think that, we know that your plan is to go, graduate, and do all these sorts of things. What would be the one piece, not career-minded, that you would want to carry forward with you as you go into your career? Like, what are the things that are, important to you? And it doesn't have to be, I want to be involved in nonprofits. It could be cars, right? But what are the things that you're taking with you that are going to be your core pieces? Because wherever you start on your journey, it's a start, right? So you have to just decide which is going to be the first step.
Yeah.
So
Well, I guess this can kind of overlay into career, but just staying true to myself and what I believe. I know obviously in a lot of different areas you can kind of forget who you are in a way. So I think just staying true to yourself and who you are and kind of what you want to be and who you want to be is like something I want to stick with. So it's great.
Yeah. We have three very different demographics represented right here. And I think we can probably all safely say we've been in a spot in our career where we lost ourselves. And we had to get back into where we were. And it isn't as hard to get back to where you were as you would think. But also, I think you would be surprised that when you feel lost, how much of you was still there with you. You know what I mean? Holding you through and reminding you what was going on. So I think that when you leave the state or you go do your things, I think staying true to yourself is really important, but also knowing what about yourself you want to stay true to and why you want to stay true to, Don't be afraid to question your value. Don't be afraid to question where you're at, because you can only do anything you can only improve by analyzing yourself and going deeper and getting to know yourself.
yeah, exactly. Cool. That's great.
All right.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
question.
Oh, yeah.
So now that you've completed this in your PDF file, Excel spreadsheet was amazing, by the way.
Was in one all anybody read?
And all of the
We read every page.
Yeah, and all of the crew did such a good job today. And without giving you any time to breathe, what's the next project?
Well, so this is airing in the winter to help with Heart of Maine United Way. The next project I have is actually probably going to be airing at the exact same time, which is I do the sled ride for Pine Tree. Yeah. The cool thing about Pine Tree Camps is they provide summer camps regardless of a camper's ability to pay. Yeah. And so that's a huge mission that needs to be accomplished. So that's on my agenda. And then there's another one I'm trying to do for Wounded Warrior Project. And so this content for a cause kind of thing, right? We're golfing with a comedic theme and entertaining intention, but with an overarching mission of supporting the community, right? It's going to be kind of reflected on that.
I know we're winding down, and I know this is not my podcast, but I wanted to reiterate that this was so well done. You guys, the team out on the other side of the cameras, so much appreciation for that. Just ridiculous today. Just, you guys were the real heroes. We really appreciate it. Ethan, again, not to harp on it, but just the creative mind to do this. It was very tiring in this community to have to do a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of us who feel that way. To see you really grab something and really refine a product, spectacular. Kris, anytime, dude, we should do this on a regular basis. So it was just terrific.
Yeah, I have a really hard time accepting compliments, but that meant a whole lot. It's been a really long road. But a lot of times I felt like I've just been kind of forcing this down people's throats and just like, hey, why are you not getting this, idiot? You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, like I get everybody's got their reasons, everyone's got their concerns and their perspectives and their hesitations.
And I feel guilty just coming into it as a talent because like really the real work is what you guys do. Like, I mean, we were complaining about our wrists and stuff like in our backs probably tomorrow after swinging the golf club for a while. But
Fortunately, I came with no talent, so it made it easy. It was really.
I don't mean physical.
No, okay. Oh no, I did in that particular case, but yeah, it was great. You should be proud.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much. We have like 90 seconds. I'm gonna give everybody the opportunity to plug something that they want to plug right now, and it can be anything. We're gonna start over here because he's still in his early in his career. He doesn't know where his value.
Yeah. So I'm going to plug the Outdoor Partners Program, which is right here on my hat. It's part of our mission as game wardens. I'm one of 2 landowner relations corporals for the Maine Warden Service. And the mission of the Outdoor Partners Program is to support private landowners that allow public access for recreational use. And it's an awesome program, and we're trying to build it. So go out there and support the brand.
Real quick, I'm doing a lot of what I've been doing outside of Waterfront Concerts, trying to find nonprofits, sponsors, and partners that work for what they're trying to do versus just throwing money at a wall. I've been consulting on that, doing that, so love to do that. We have a long-delayed podcast that we've been working on forever called From the Main Stage with Kris Rudolph, and we've interviewed a bunch of actors and writers and friends of the organization, so that'll be getting done as soon as Ethan puts it together for me, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. We're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna push anything. I've been pushing a whole lot of stuff, but the biggest thing I'll say is the Heart of Maine United Way. That has been the mission of these episodes, and so that's where I'm gonna put it. Donation link in the description. Go check them out.
Yeah, I feel like you guys had some really good ones there. I was just gonna promote my business. I'm sorry, you guys had some really good.
You got 20 seconds.
Riley Bridge Media. I'm sorry, I do a lot of like weddings, real estate stuff. Yeah, and obviously United Way.
Yeah, and obviously the United Way.
And United Way.
Awesome.
Heart of Maine United Way.
Donate now.
Go donate. Don't mean to sound like a cliche here, but like, share, and subscribe. Well, the end of our journey has come, but don't worry, there's plenty more to learn in this walk of life. If you've learned anything today or anything interesting along the way, I hope you'll go check it out, right? Go investigate. Go check out the Northern Oak Tournament on YouTube. Go learn more about the Heart of Maine United Way at homeuw.org/golf. That's homeum.org/golf. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe at The Maine Man on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Be sure to catch the Backroad live on YouTube every Tuesday at noon, or catch the edited release a week later, Wednesdays, wherever podcasts are found, YouTube included. Thanks for walking the Backroad with me. I've been Ethan Levesque, here to help you accomplish your business, marketing, and production goals. And remind you, you can get there from here. It says it's recording, but we're going to find out together. I don't trust my equipment. I'll likely have to film this 3 times. You know, I drove to Best Buy today 3 times for the same cord. First time they sold me the wrong one. Second time I bought the wrong one in a rush. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. This is how I move my hips. I gotta start doing more vocal warm-ups. I'm new to this. Don't judge me.